Of all the great animated movies that have been made over the years, not every animated movie gets the reception it deserves. And that reception is directly tied into the movie's box office returns. So we'll be looking into 4 great animated movies that just bombed at the box office. I'll be going over the plot of each movie and why they ended up failing to garner the audiences they needed and didn't end up making the profits they were hoping for. Catstone Dance is an animated musical comedy movie about a bunch of animals, mainly one named Danny, a cat with a big dream of making it in Hollywood. Along the way, he meets lots of friends and future enemies, inspiring them to regain their motivation to become stars. The film unfortunately suffered a pretty major loss at the box office, only gathering about $3.5 million during its run, on a $32 million budget. So what exactly happened? Well, the thing is, during the merger of Turner Animation and Warner Brothers, Catstone Dance ended up in Warner Brothers' possession. Consequently, they dumped it into theaters with pretty much no fanfare, leading to a miserable box office return. However, despite the failed theatrical run, when the film was released on home media, the audience for the movie grew, including myself. I couldn't find specific numbers on the home video release, but I'm sure it was enough to justify its availability. And to this day, it remains a cult classic among the animation community.
Mr. Whitmore, this journal is the key to finding the lost continent of Atlantis.
Atlantis, the Lost Empire, follows a man named Milo Thatch as he's determined to confirm the existence of the lost city of Atlantis. When no one else will listen, an old friend of his late uncle funds his expedition with a crew of the best, and even a little bit of the worst, leading to a journey far bigger than they all expected. They discover that not only does the city exist, but it's alive and well with people and culture all around, making the discovery a lot more complicated than they initially thought. The Lost Empire made about $186 million on a budget of $120 million. It opened at number 2 at the box office in its debut week, behind Lara Croft, and even further back in the weeks later. Although it ended up making its budget back, it doesn't account for the marketing. I couldn't find confirmed numbers, but some sources say it was a loss of approximately $180 million, which is a real shame. I hope Disney will take another chance on making a movie like this again, as I know there's an audience for it. Luckily, Atlantis was also treated well on home video and DVD, accumulating around $157 million in revenue by the middle of 2003. So I'd say by now it's definitely made up for its box office loss.
But think of it, evidence of man's primitive ancestry, the missing link.
Missing Link is a story about an explorer and investigator of mythical creatures named Sir Lionel Frost, who struggles to be taken seriously by his peers. After receiving a letter about the acknowledgement of a Sasquatch, he tries to prove that the creature is real. From there, he meets an actual Sasquatch who sent him the letter, asking for help to find his closest relatives, the Yetis. Together they travel to take him to a new home while being chased by a bounty hunter. The movie suffered badly in theaters, only gaining a little less than $27 million on a $100 million budget, resulting in about a $100 million loss, making it the worst performing Laika film ever. So as to say, the lack of excitement for the movie made it less essential to see in theaters. Others take into account that this was Laika's first movie without a child protagonist, which more often than not won't appeal to kids as much, and families would proceed to attend another film instead. And others might chalk it up to a lack of marketing. It's quite a shame because this is a really great movie. Maybe young children might not get much enjoyment out of it, but if you're a fan of Laika's other movies, you'll get a kick out of this one. The Iron Giant is about a boy named Hogarth who lives in a small town and discovers a giant robot. He befriends it while keeping it a secret from the government, teaching it about what life has to offer, even during uncertain times. The movie only grossed about $31 million on a $50 million budget during its theater run, although different sources say that they earned less on that on an even higher budget. I'm not sure which one is more accurate. The failure of this movie was mainly due to the lack of marketing by Warner Brothers, along with the small time frame for getting the movie out by a set date, which didn't help them come up with ideas, essentially setting up Brad Bird and his team for failure. Luckily, this was another film that saw success on home video and DVD, with Warner Brothers actually putting marketing into the home release, making it successful later on, and now a cult classic movie. Anyone who grew up with this movie in the 90s and 2000s will instantly recognize this amazing movie. It's sad that these movies didn't get the proper recognition upon release, but luckily time has given these movies nothing but praise among the animation community, and personally I think all these movies will forever be considered great.